What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of T and Z. And since Zach likes to count, this is episode 6, man.
Dude.
We're to 2 hands now.
2 hands now.
2 hands, and we have a different setup today. We're a little bit more casual.
It's Casual Friday.
It is Friday, and it is Casual Friday, dude.
We can't talk. We both wear joggers every day.
True story. Well, how you been these last few weeks?
Dude, I've been good.
Yeah?
We had a lot going on.
I know. Give me one story that won't get you in trouble about your kids.
Oh gosh. Well, Shani put it on Facebook, but she got a selfie stick to do like videos and for TikTok and things. Jevers gets it. And he walks around and we're eating dinner and have hot dogs.
Yeah.
And he's making his own movie. Like, it's all him. Like,
yeah.
You can go see it on Facebook.
I'll have to watch it. I didn't see that.
He literally goes to the plate. He's like, hot dog? And he takes her new phone on the selfie stick to the greasy hot dog plate. Num, 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 num.
That's a good one. I see Shani's, I see all of her stuff. How did I miss that? When did she put that up?
Last night.
Oh, it was last night. That's why I haven't seen it yet. Go follow his wife, Shani. Because she's a funny follow, man. She puts up real funny stuff. So
people know I'm alive because of her posts. I'm not good on social media. She is.
That's hilarious. I love that. Well, hey, I want to go back to why we do this podcast. We talk a lot of sports, right? We talk about our families, obviously, and then we talk about Jesus and spiritual stuff too. But I was doing my homework for this podcast because I take this podcast very seriously. So seriously. And I always go to like Google Analytics for all you people out there who watch this for topic ideas. And check this out, dude. This probably won't surprise you because of just what's sports right now. There's a lot going on. But 16 out of the 20 top Google Analytics searches and time spent on Google was sports related. 6 in the United States. I can't speak. I didn't do the world, but in the United States, 16 of the 20 Google Analytics that people spent their time on researching or sites that they were on, as of yesterday, was sports related. 16 of the top 20. So that gave me an idea today to talk about sports and the church, which obviously is a plug for me and my job. And it kind of ties you in and what you're already doing, right? But before we get into that, I do want to recap 2 main sports topics, okay? One, super low-hanging fruit. Last night was the NFL draft, night 1. So this weekend, we always post this later.
I don't care about the draft.
There's the answer. You don't care about the draft. Zach, who was the first pick last night? Do you even know?
It was Williams, wasn't it?
It was, yes. Do you know what color suit he was wearing? No, it was navy blue, man. Come on. He knew he was getting drafted by the Bears. Did you even know the Bears had the first pick?
No.
You didn't know the Bears had the first pick.
Did they also trade up for a Dunze, the guy from Washington, too?
No, they got him, but that was their pick.
Okay.
The first pick was the Panthers pick that they got in the trade, which is still crazy.
Dude, so that's actually a really good draft.
Oh, huge, dude.
So I didn't realize, I forgot they had the first pick. I did see someone on my Facebook say, what's with the Bears acting like a competent organization?
That is very true. They are. And they got the quarterback. Now we'll see how he does.
When they gave him a receiver, here's why I said I didn't care.
They already got 2 receivers.
Here's why I said I didn't care. I kept looking, and my Bills they traded themselves out of the first round. However, they have the first pick today, and they're going to go get Cooper DeJean. And where did he play his college football? Iowa. We don't need a cornerback, really, but we'll take him.
This podcast cannot go without an Iowa topic. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Hey, back to your Bills.
But no one from Iowa watches.
I do want to hear your initial. I saw some funny tweets. Or what do you call them now? They're not tweets anymore. They're X's.
X's?
I saw some funny X's about how the Bills traded out with the Chiefs, and the Chiefs got like a Tyreek Hill wannabe, right? The fastest guy in the draft.
They got Worthy from Texas, right?
Yes, the fastest guy.
So here's the deal.
Without pads.
Why we're frustrated, we needed some receivers.
Yeah. Yes.
You trade out of the first round when you would have got him at that pick.
Yep. Absolutely. But here's the funniest
And
part.
then you give the Chiefs,
Yes.
the team that you can't get by,
Yes.
you give him that guy.
Yes. So, but the funniest tweet or X that I saw that I wanted to bring up to you as a Bills fan was this. I'm going to butcher it, but so when you win the Super Bowl, what pick do you get? The last pick, right?
Yeah.
Which is 32 in the NFL. And I saw this guy tweet, the Bills only traded with the Chiefs because they wanted to know what it felt like to pick 32. Because they've come so close for so many years.
But then they didn't even do that.
No, they
Their
You're
first,
right. Yeah. But anyways.
Speaking of Bills memes, we may have to edit this out. This might be a little far.
No.
But
we don't edit anything out.
I saw a post a few years ago. The Bills are to blame for the Kardashians.
Oh, I did see that. Yes.
Because OJ.
Yes.
And then one of the Kardashians was like the lawyer for him. So it's like the Bills are to blame for the Kardashians.
Yes. That was. I saw that exact same thing. All right. So you mentioned Iowa. You're hoping to draft a guy from Iowa today, your Bills. But let's talk about real quickly. Caitlin Clark. We can't go without talking about Caitlin on here, man.
We weren't gonna, even if you didn't type it in.
Oh, I had it in here always. I mean, her jersey sells off the charts, right? You can't even order a jersey right now because they're selling out so fast. But I want to talk about the $28 million endorsement deal that she got from Nike, and what a huge win that is for women's sports.
Yes. Well, but it's hard to say, like, and that's the thing. She's getting that deal because she is bringing attention and eyes. Like, people are paying attention to her as much as any athlete.
Yeah.
If not more right now.
Yeah.
Supply and demand, she's a person, right? But she's the supply.
Yep.
And it's in demand.
Absolutely.
And so, and $28 million for women's sports is historic. And the one thing I've watched her in interviews, she's like, yeah, I knew it was going to be the first pick, but I've wanted to enjoy it because you only get this once, and I've earned this. I've worked. Like,
totally.
She has earned everything she's got. And she didn't just play for the University of Iowa. People that grow up in the state of Iowa don't go play professional sports.
Yeah.
That's not.
Is she from Iowa?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yep. She played at a small private school.
Got it.
Well, not small, but a private school.
Yeah.
2 hours away.
Yeah.
Or don't quote me on that. She might not have played there.
We're definitely going to quote you on that. 100%.
If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, Dowling Catholic in Des Moines, Iowa.
All right, man. Well, hey, let's jump right into our topic for the day, which is sports and the church.
Okay.
I work for FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I got to give them a plug. You're a big, high caliber volunteer for us in regards to bouncing around to different campuses. Your kids have played in some of our kids programs.
Heck yeah, dude.
You know it. You love it. We appreciate you.
Still can't win that championship.
But in the FCA soccer world.
Dude, I was so bummed. Our team was hoping to win that tournament, and we just had 6 minutes where we let up 7 goals.
Oh,
you watched it, too.
I did. He's referencing our FCA Soccer League. 4-year-olds to 11-year-olds. The registration's open. You can go sign up right now.
Do it.
Yeah. But I want to talk to you just about the sports in the church world, right? Because you're a pastor, you love Jesus, and you have kids in sports, and you love sports, right? And that's and that's kind of what this podcast has been started on, is we talk sports and we talk Jesus. And so how do you find in your own life the intersection between sports and spirituality in just your life in general? Like, how do they connect?
I mean, a basic, not to be whatever, everything you do with all your heart. Like, it's another opportunity. As an athlete, it's another opportunity to offer Jesus. But here's what I love about sports is, like music, sports relates and gravitates to people.
Yes.
And speaks to people in a unique way.
Yep.
And it unites people. It can bring the best out of people, and it can also bring the worst out of people. So it's just a really good platform for life to be on display.
That's really good.
And so I think sports, here's where I think church and sports really come in. Like, obviously, sports can be used as a platform to share Jesus through through like the leagues, like what FCA is doing, provide not only an environment where they get safe, fun, clean youth environment for sports, and they get better at the sport and they learn and grow in the sport, but they also get to hear about Jesus. And like so you can use it as a direct ministry like that, and that's awesome.
Yep.
But nothing reveals character to me like sports.
It's true.
And listen, it can be too, but I've also I went to a college going to be pastors. Future pastors, how they acted on the intramural court, played in church basketball tournaments.
Church softball.
Church softball. Dude, there's a song that my dad and I used to listen to called Church League Softball Fist Fight.
Yeah. You need to take that call? You can take it.
It's your buddy John Spear.
What's up, John Spear? We got to get him on here as a guest.
We should.
That'd be hilarious.
But I feel like it can reveal character and be a really time for shine, or it can be, hey, this dude is pouring into me about Jesus, but yet he's ruthless and whatever on the court. And listen, maybe this doesn't correlation, but this just gets me going on a rant because everyone's like, in college when we had intramurals, everyone's like, you can't judge someone by how they act on the court. It's an extension of who you are. Listen, you can be competitive and not a tool.
There you go.
But if you're proclaiming the name of Jesus,
come on.
If you're an athlete and you're representing Jesus, you're representing Jesus when you're frustrated.
That's right. Shout out to Jamon Green.
I love me some Draymond. But here's the deal. It can be such a great avenue to show the love of Jesus and godly character.
Yeah.
And I just love how it brings people together.
Totally. I mean, there's a reason. Like, that's why I brought up at the very beginning today. 16 of the 20 most searched time spent on the internet as of yesterday was on sports. People can't ignore that, right?
Well, and especially in today's life, it is. Life is crazy, and we're parents. Like, you know what the simplest thing in my life is?
Sports.
Getting to show up, throw a lawn chair on the sideline,
yes,
and watch my kid kick a ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like the simplest. Most parents would tell you that's the simplest thing in my life, and what our kids are into, we're into, right? So it's like
that's really good.
So I think it unites people. It obviously can divide people.
For sure.
People can take it too far. But what I'd say is, it can be such a good tool. But I've also seen it can be such a great tool to show Jesus. But I've also seen people to some degree lose their witness through sports.
Totally.
So we have to be careful. Listen, you can be competitive, and you have to not. If you want to be a good athlete, you have to not like losing.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yep.
But you can be competitive. You can be driven. You can be a hard worker.
Yeah.
And hate losing, and still represent Jesus. So when I was a kid, I played small school Christian school basketball.
Yeah.
Varsity basketball, 8th grade. That's right.
Come on, baby.
That's right. My coach, our team was awful. Why I got to play. But he told us something, because he saw one of the games, and it's like, listen, don't accept losing, but lose gracefully.
There you go.
Because we were just accepting losing. We're like, all right.
Yep.
But don't accept it, but lose gracefully. And nothing frustrates me more than, man, I want to represent Jesus, but on the court, that all goes out the window.
Yeah, no. I can speak to that because from the coaching world, right? I'll tell on myself. I started coaching at Chihuahua back in like 2013, the same time that I was still on staff with Young Life. So shout out to Young Life. And so I would coach baseball, right? And then I would leave practice and go to club. And club is a place where we would gather with all the kids and do a fun program that night. And sometimes my players would be like, you are a totally different human being at Young Life than you are as a coach. Mm-hmm. And at first I took that super defensive. Like, well, I have to be. Like, when I'm coaching you, it's different than when I'm at Young Life. Like, when I'm at Young Life, I just get to be myself and be free and blah, blah, blah. But when I'm coaching, like, I have to coach, do anything. And so, but I remember just reflecting on that and realizing in my younger coaching years that I wasn't demonstrating what you were saying. There were some character inconsistencies with how I coached to who I was off of coaching, right? And I had to find a balance with that, because when you are coaching, you do have to coach hard. There is accountability. I had to be hard on kids. I had to call kids out. Like, none of those things are bad or wrong, but there is also kind of a line, right, where I have to find that. And I've had a balance. And there's days, even to like this season, where I've crossed that line as a coach, and I could have been better in that moment. It's almost like parenting, right? There's moments in parenting when I'm showing Jesus and I'm showing grace, and there's moments in parenting when I'm not.
Listen, I have absolutely... I'm not saying this isn't something I have to tug of war with. And to be honest, the reason I don't tug of war, if I'm on the court or field, our team knows we have no chance to win anyway. So like, if I was competitive...
That's not true, Zach.
If I was competitive, I would hate life because I'm not going to win. Like, I'm actually more competitive as a coach because I'm not relying on my abilities or lack of abilities. Like, the kids are less limited than me in my mind. So, but like, and I did go on a rant, and you asked me, like, the relation church and sports. The simple answer that could have saved us a ton of time is, like music, and like how, we have with worship and music, a sport is a great tool in the Batman tool belt to utilize to share the love of Jesus like anything else. Well,
okay, let's stay right there, because share with me a personal story maybe that pops into your brain from a time that you've coached or time from when your playing days where sports has helped you understand a spiritual life lesson.
Okay, as a coach, so I think I told you a little bit, like, I was looking for youth pastor jobs. Nothing was popping up. A small Christian school I got connected with was helping out their chapels. We tried to start a basketball team. And we did that, and like, in that time, God used that to, like, at a time that I didn't have confidence, that I was like, God, what's your calling on my life? Like, what is this? This basketball team got placed into my lap, and we brought a small community school together, and we had a cool opportunity of, I was also a youth leader at a youth group. And there's this kid in my 8th grade small group, and he was homeschooled. But you could very not social, nicest kid. Actually, I still keep up with him today. Well, I talked to the schools, like, hey, because they said I could bring homeschool kids on, and I was like, we figured we were going to be bad, first-year team. But I really felt the nudge to bring this kid on, and no basketball, knew he was going to be bad. And we brought him on the team, and his whole family started coming to every game. He didn't care if he was in the games as much. And like this team rallied around him. And actually he became a really good defensive. I was actually putting him in varsity games at the end of the season.
That's awesome.
He didn't know what to do when he got the ball. But without the ball, he was really good. And
neither does Draymond.
So just this team that we brought together, and it was guys that never got to represent their school in a sport before. They had to go play for other schools or whatever. And a lot of guys that, at a public school wouldn't get that chance, right? So we did that. But then for me, as someone who no one was giving me a chance to go bring this school together and we got some kind of, attention. And what's cool is all these years later, the school has multiple sports. They got a bigger building and a new gym. North Iowa Christian School, when are you putting my name on the court?
Come on. Let's go.
Where's our movie?
Or not only that, when are they doing the coach jersey retirement ceremony where he raised the Zach Lewis and the brackets?
Well, dude, here's what I say. Why that thing? I don't know. And I almost paused and didn't pursue youth ministry to stay and do that. That's how cool of an experience that was. And but God literally used sports when I was an adult, coaching a group of kids, to say, I'm not done with you. You still have a plan.
Absolutely.
So that's not directly through the game. But that was the time sports was used, and I still talk to guys on that team to this day. So that was probably one of the coolest 6 months of my life.
I would say along those same lines, that's why I love coaching so much, is the growth you get to see in individual kids, right? You talked about that kid who came on, wasn't playing, became a defensive player towards the end of the season. The other piece I loved about your story was the family component. His whole family came to every game to support him, cheer him on. But I think at the end of it all, I mean, the thing that I love about what a life lesson or spiritual life lesson that sports kind of correlate with each other is it's the ups and downs of just the daily grind, right? If you think of a season from start to finish, it's just a roller coaster. There's ups and downs. There's relationship issues. There's days where you got it, and there's days where you don't. There's games where you win. There's games when you lose. All kinds of stuff. And I think
you're riding highs. You just played really good a couple games ago, and you do better than you think you did, and then you go play a team that you think you should be able to compete with, and you lay an egg.
Yes, and I relate that to just even my own spiritual journey, and I bet you that you could as well, and others can as well. Spiritually, there are days and there are seasons where you have those high highs and you're like, man, you feel so close with God and things are good and all is well. And then there's just seasons where, because of circumstances or certain events that happen, where our faith can be rocked and it can be really hard during that season, right? There's dry seasons and all that. And so I think what we have to learn spiritually, just like you have to learn athletically, is don't get too high, don't get too low. And just every day show up. Like every day keep showing up.
It was funny, me and my 12-year-old were talking about that. Because it is easy for us to ride the emotions, the highs and the lows. But if we stay consistent, we're not swept up and too high.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a lot of people understand when you get too high on yourself or too high on it allows you to miss out. And that actually can be a pretty dangerous.
For sure.
When you feel too good. That can be a pretty dangerous place.
Yeah, absolutely.
But obviously, if you stay low and you don't let yourself get above that. So I think just that consistency of, hey, what I've learned is, in my life, is the outcome doesn't change the calling, right?
Yeah.
So just because we got smoked 90-12 doesn't mean that we don't need to go back to layups and to dribbling.
Yeah,
where
working.
When I mess up, but like in sports, right? So let's say a lot of times you have that big, we get spanked, we don't make the team, whatever.
Yeah.
We want to push away. Well, really, if that's what you're supposed to do, you need to lean in and work harder and learn from those moments. Where, for me, when I mess up, when I wrestle with that thing called sin, for me, for the longest time, okay, well, I have to give God space. But really, when I make the mistake,
that's good.
When I don't get the job done, that's when I need to lean in the most. Just like this cool story. I was preparing for a message when I was at my church in Wyoming, and I had a message called The Rebound, and it was about like how do we rebound from mistakes.
That's good.
And I was watching the state basketball tournament.
Yeah.
And this kid was making a free throw to send his team to the championship game.
Yeah.
And they said last year, this same kid missed a free throw.
Yeah.
And their team got eliminated.
Yeah.
Partly because of that free throw.
Yep.
The second that game was done, this kid went to Anytime Fitness. Kept shooting.
That's awesome.
Right after the loss, and the next year, he makes the free throw that sends his team to the championship game.
Awesome. Yeah.
And that is something that, like, dude, I'm an adult, and I took that lesson from a high school kid playing basketball.
That's good. Well, let's transition to that, though. Let's talk about that with just athletes, right? Young athletes. You have athletes in your home, right, that are competing, and the older they get, it gets more competitive, right? And I know you're a dad who wants to incorporate character into your kids. So how can athletes incorporate their faith into their performance on the field or court? What are some creative, simple ways that a young athlete or that you'd want to see your son live out?
Well, to me, it's as simple as, do you have an active relationship with Jesus? Are you talking to him? Are you letting him speak to you through his word? And if you do, that shines through all areas of your life. Because so something we were actually having to talk with my son is like, having godly character and loving Jesus on the field doesn't mean you're less physical.
There you go.
You still need to be physical. You still need to have an edge.
Yes.
But I think something I've learned is the biggest thing through my kids, through myself, and maybe this doesn't help you on the field, but the reality is you're more than the sport you play.
Yep.
And so if you remember that, if you remember, hey, I'm created by my Heavenly Father, not I'm a soccer player. Because if our identity is a soccer player and I have a bad game.
Yeah.
So, like, I think understanding, listen, sports are awesome and it's so cool, but a lot of times we get so caught up in it. And I think if you understand that the sport you play isn't who you are.
Well, the coaches can get caught up into it as well,
Dude,
right?
we do.
I'm guilty of that.
We do.
Yeah.
And so I think so I know for our son and our boys, it's been the field should just be an extension of who you are. And I something like for us, it's cool to see, like, you know, my wife is the typical mom. Like, she's most proud when she sees our kid pick another kid up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like,
that's mom life.
Yeah. But like, I think it's different at levels, because I have a kid, 12, in middle school, competitive, wants to play serious soccer, right?
Yep.
And then I've got a 9-year-old who's trying to figure out what he likes. He's starting to lean into soccer, wants to try other things. I have a 4-year-old who he's just ready to play sports. Yeah. He runs. He's probably going to be a football player.
Yeah.
But like, so I've got kids at every level. Yep. And you know, I think when you're speaking to like the really serious side of things, it is sports is a really good thing, like, because life is going to have its ups and downs. Yeah. And so I guess I don't have a quick, like,
no, that's
hey, here's how to live out your faith through Jesus. But I know for my son, like, it's cool to see, because as he's growing up and learning and developing, hey, he really is into soccer.
Yep.
And it can be, if he has a bad game, he hates everything for a little bit. Yeah. But, and I'm like, dude, you can't do that. But then I think back to myself, I'm like,
for sure,
dude, I had a hard day at work, or this is stressful, and I'm not good to my family.
That's so
good. And
so
it teaches life lessons of,
that's so
dude,
good.
Like, so I more see it as a teaching ground.
Totally.
In real time.
Yeah.
Your kids get to handle things they're going to have to handle in the real world. Like,
they're on their own, right?
Coach isn't playing me. I'm not getting to play the position I want, or someone else gets to do this and I don't. Yeah. Like, as unfortunate as it is, it prepares them for real life.
Totally.
And so I look at it as a teaching ground. Yeah. And so for me and especially the kids, when I get to coach them, like, if I'm a parent, my rule is this. Like, so my 9-year-old, I don't have time to coach his team because I'm helping coach the competitive team. Yep. The only thing I comment to my kid if I'm not coaching them is attitude and effort.
There you go.
If I'm not their coach, I'm not going to talk to them about how they should play.
That's a great lesson, parents.
Because that's not my job.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, my son who plays, it's teaching him in real time, like. Yeah. But so I more see it as a teaching ground where I believe sports reveal character.
There you go.
And so we get to see some of who our kids are, and we get those really cool teaching moments, whether they're fun or not.
Yeah. I want to jump into another unpopular subject in regards to what we're talking about with youth sports and the church, right? And this is our last question because we're on a time crunch this morning.
Yep.
But as a youth pastor, just pastor in general, right? And you have kids in sports.
Yeah.
Youth sports is becoming more busy now than I think it ever has been in the history of youth sports, with all the club teams and the tournaments on the weekends and practices. Yeah. It's just go, right? Championship Sunday. Yeah. What advice or just thoughts in general would you give to young athletes and other families that are trying to navigate the balance between faith and sports commitments?
Something I hear, and before I say this, if any parents actually do watch, don't hear me wrong. have your kids in sports, be committed, pursue those dreams. However, here's what I'd say.
Get them.
What you give time to reveals what's really your priority.
Mm-hmm.
So if all, and I've been a youth pastor as a parent, right? Okay, my kid had a busy week at school. We've had family stuff going on. He had games. What's the thing we're willing to let them miss? Church, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the
and
go-to,
so I mean, for me,
church and youth group.
So yeah, so for me, what are we telling our kids? And this isn't me judging.
No, I say it, man.
This isn't me judging, but the reality is, if we let sports come before Jesus, if our actions show that, if basketball camp is more important than church camp, what am I telling my kid?
There you go. And I want to clarify, because I know his heart. Zach isn't saying you can't miss a Sunday or
not at all,
or a youth group night. But when it's happening every single week, or if your kid has a chance to go encounter Jesus for a week at a church camp, they can miss a few games in the summer to go to church camp. They can miss a few games to go to that event. Because guess what? There's going to be another game. There's going to be another practice. These kids are too young to be worrying about missing a game. And I think there has to be balance.
And I get as you get older, it's more important. Like,
it is.
We're more concerned about my 13-year-old's games.
For sure.
Because but
I still think you're right, though, whether you're 17 or you're 7.
Yeah.
And again, hear our hearts. We're not saying you have to miss every championship Sunday, but I think there has to be, like you're saying, as a family, what are our non-negotiables? What are our commitments?
Yeah.
And I know there are some families out there who literally are like, we don't play on Sundays, plain and simple. I don't care if it's the championship. I don't care if it's the national championship. We don't play. And that's awesome. I'm not saying you have to go that far. I just think as a family because I think what's important, and you kind of said it throughout this time that we've been talking, you are, whether you realize it or not, as a parent, and I can say this confidently because I have kids in sports as well, you're demonstrating to them what you care about. And let's put sports aside for a second. Oh man, me and Courtney, we've had a busy week at work. It's been stressful. We're just going to stay home from church this Sunday. What are we showing our kids? So putting sports aside, I think we just have to show the value of community.
Can I rabbit trail too?
Yes, we got 2 minutes.
God seems to also work the times we don't want to show up.
Yeah.
And we use what we call spiritual discipline to show up.
Yeah.
It's all the Sundays, all the times that she's like, we don't want to go.
Yes. That's when something...
And we show up.
Yeah.
We force ourselves to go discipline.
Yes. Come on.
God rocks us. And so here's what I'd say. And again, I'm not attacking anybody. And as parents, this is a struggle I have. But we with our son, we were kind of understanding the landscape of the Sunday games and stuff. And so this is something we had to deal with. God put a situation where we had a team and a coach.
Yeah.
Where he's like, listen, you're going to miss 2 Sundays a year because of tournaments.
Yeah.
But we won't play our league games on.
Yeah.
And so we were literally having to do a discussion of, hey, are we going to sacrifice our son's spiritual health?
Yep. There's a great
so he could pursue sports.
For sure.
And here's the deal. At the end of the day, sports are important. It's awesome to watch our kids chase their dreams and succeed.
Yep.
But here's the deal. If we don't show them that their faith is a priority, sports are going to come and go.
Yeah.
An encounter with Jesus lasts forever.
Totally.
And so I think sports have a place, but the simplest answer to this whole thing is, where on the pyramid are they?
Yep, and I think we have
is it a part of your life or is it an idol?
Yeah, and the reason why I asked that last question is because I think culturally we're beginning, I've seen it in the baseball world, man, it just takes over the whole entire weekend, and I'm seeing a trend I don't like, and that's why I talked about it. And they may not agree with us, that's cool, But I'm just telling us right now, there is something happening in youth sports right now that is not okay. And I want to throw it out there. But
Kids
hey, we
don't
got to
have fun. It's pressure filled.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, we got to wrap this up though. Hey, real quick, you know what I learned throughout this podcast? Is I had a cramp in my left cheek and it was killing me over here, but I fought through. That's what sports taught me. You got to keep fighting, dude. You didn't even know, did you?
No.
Yeah, I'm sitting here cramping up in my left cheek and I'm hurting, but I kept it together. That's it for today's podcast, the T&Z Show, episode 6. We'll see you guys later.